back to my channel and my podcast, you guys. We have a special guest today. I have Bradley from the Internal Game here, and we're just going to have a chat and see what comes up. Thank you so much, Bradley, for doing this again with me, and I'm so excited for our conversation this time around. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, yeah. So tell the people, those people who don't may not know you or come across your YouTube channel, what you do and what you talk about.
Um, you have a YouTube channel called The Internal Game. My name is Bradley. I think that I talk about consciousness and uh, some reality creation, I guess, and yeah, just a normal guy.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
whatever comes up, whatever
yeah,
comes
yeah.
up. Yeah. So, you started telling me last time we talked about some manifestations that you have brought into fruition, and I kind of wanted to talk about that, especially because we have a lot of people here on my channel that want to also manifest their specific person, and I do teach it in a way that you teach it as well about being in the presence. But what drew you to the idea of manifesting your specific person, and how has your perspective on it evolved over time?
My first of all, yeah, that's a good question. My perspective has evolved tremendously on that over time. Um, I'm definitely not in the same state of beings maybe as back then. So like I'm able to perceive a little bit differently. But yeah, it was pretty wild back in the day. I think that I found myself in quite of a pickle. You insecure, fearful, a lot of doubt. Don't really know what's going on. You just get scared and start projecting, and then yeah, no, that's what's happening. And then in my case, I did know about law. I found it a little bit before the whole breakup, but like I knew about it, I just couldn't stop it. Like I couldn't stop like my thoughts. I couldn't stop that. I was like, oh shit. Like I noticed that my wife started sleeping on the couch. Like started getting more distant, and the more distant she got, the more anxious I got. Then I started doing the the anxious avoidance stuff. You type that in and you're like, oh, that's what she is. Right? And then of course it just fucking just further separates. It seems like. But anyway, yeah, so I actually was the one that was like, I have to leave because I was like scared of rejection, really. Um, I nonetheless, like, I guess long story kind of long is I left, but then thinking that was going to help me out. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get situated, get some space. And then it didn't really. It was just more, could stop the thoughts. Just wonder what she was doing. I mean, I'd worried that she was going to like date somebody else for like, I don't know, probably 6 months before that happened. And then finally we split up and then she did start dating someone else. And I was like, oh, all right. But like it actually wasn't all that bad because like I'd already given that experience to myself for like months. So like it was kind of more of a relief than anything. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So let's get to work at it. And then got stuck affirming. I was doing a little robotic affirmation stuff. I did the um man, it seemed like everything. Sleep tapes. If something wasn't working for me within a couple of days, I was like, oh, it must be a different tape. Like I was in desperate need of a change ASAP. And then I guess up until that point I'd read The Power of Now a few times, but like I was always scared of that book. Um Not scared. I believe it to be true, but I was like maybe when I'm like 65 I'll do all that. Not right now because I want my woman and my money and my kingdom, all my good stuff. And I thought that was like a separate type of deal. And then one day the pain became enough. And I remember going back to that book and started to become more aware of my thoughts. And when I was able to do that, then I was able to, see the thought instead of be the thought kind of thing. And then like some things started to make sense for me. I was like, oh, well, no wonder, dude. No wonder, no wonder all this is happening. I'm fucking insane, right? So it was like I was able to like get some space in between thought and self and stop identifying with it really like that. And then oddly enough, all these things started to work out. So, my wife came back. It was more of a priority in my life. I mean, before the whole that took shape, but I didn't really do anything besides get out of what I was being, really. Mainly, I mean, there were times where I told little news stories, I guess, but like it wasn't like I always say in videos, like no one has trouble telling a news story. They have a problem going back to the old one. It's very easy to affirm a news story. It's very easy to say these things. But like when the old stuff comes up and we buy it, then that becomes a cycle. So being observant of thought was a big game changer for me. I was able to no longer go back to the old story, I guess. So um, then of course just things kind of took shape, and later on I decided to make a YouTube channel about some things. And but yeah, my opinion on everything has evolved for sure. Probably even just on the YouTube journey. like probably from first video till now, it's probably evolved quite a bit. There's like to me, in my opinion, it's like a couple truths. Everything's kind of coming from that. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely evolved in the opinion of it. Like it's just not that big of a deal to me anymore. And it's not just because I have my wife. It's just that like, yeah, I mean, she could leave now, and I'd be like, like, I mean, I would kind of look, I'd go with them probably and look and see what's going on, but like, I wouldn't trip. Like, I'm no longer that kind of that person. But, um, yeah, I think I've realized in the evolution of Bradley, I guess, in the internal game is that kind of like Eckert says, life isn't as serious as the mind makes it out to be. It's kind of why I chose like the internal game, the name. Alan Watts had a quote that said, that's where I really got it from Alan Watts, where he said, "Man suffers because he takes seriously what God made for fun." And I did a lot of suffering because I took seriously what God made for fun. And um, yeah, I try to more so focus on the self mastery part and the like the illusion of fear part. And I think that if I got to talk about SPs and things like that to make it make sense, and so be it. But all those things are just byproducts of the relationship within. And yeah, that's kind of how I look at it now. Instead of just like trying to make something happen.
Yeah. And I really like how last time you called it insane thinking, because that's really what it was. And I've been there too about how it sounded like to me, because on my channel, we talk about how our inner senses are creative and our outer senses are reactive. And to me, it just sounded like you were constantly reacting and reacting and reacting. And, that's what drove that illusion of separation further and further and further. And it's kind of like just for that moment for you to wake up and just be like, none of that was really going on what I thought it was. It was just me being upset about thoughts that didn't have any life in them. I was
No,
putting the energy into the thoughts, and just that's how you just get into an illusion. And you can't work your way out of it. You really can't. You just have to wake up from it. And that's what I
agree.
like to tell people too. So yeah. So how do you think our self-concept shapes the way just things show up in our reality, whether it's a specific person or whatever it is?
I mean, I think it's important in the sense of like I think you're going to get a reflection of that. I think you're going to perceive from the belief system. Like I think that whether that's an ideal belief or not ideal belief, it's kind of is what it is. Like you're going to perceive this person and things from how you feel about self. Like so, I mean, obviously, a more ideal self concept, you'd be able to like if you went from not chosen to chosen. Obviously, you're going to probably expect some different things and maybe not create a bunch of drama. Or my bad, different kind, not the same kind of drama because mine likes drama, but like the same kind of drama from like the unchosen one. But uh I try to talk about like getting out of it altogether because
Mm,
like it's just not real, right? Like even the coolest of self concepts. Like I like to break down the word like concept. It's a concept of self. It's like not even it's something you've conceptualized, like you've made up. Like it's the and so I think that the what we are underneath all that, behind all that, above all that, like the whole thing that it comes from is
mm,
can't really be conceptualized. So, but for sure, it plays a big part because in my opinion, I like I heard it from Tony Robbins. I don't know where he got it from, but like the the strongest force in the human psyche is it's this need to stay consistent with how it sees itself. Like that's the actual hard part about change. Is like the actual identity doesn't want to change because then it can't exist. So it's gonna perceive everything and throw the stories to stay in alignment with how it sees itself, including making up stories about somebody else that end up getting pushed out, and then we stay in the story because that's how we really felt about self, all that good stuff. So the idea, I think, is to recognize the illusion of all concept.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I like that perspective. And my belief about self-concept has evolved over time too. Instead of all of these little separate versions or identities, because some people think that they're becoming someone totally new. It's like, no, it's just one being, one self here that has different perceptions, different lenses. It's still the one being, but just looking at that same situation from a different perception is what changes that situation. So all of everything, of course, is neutral, but your perception is how you're gonna basically, you know, have an experience with that situation. So it's helped me to stop thinking that I need to become a different, completely different version of Autumn. I need to work my way there. instead of just saying I just have a perception that might be false. And so that's definitely helped me to remain in this one identity, this one mind, and just shift my perception around. So it's kind of like a, one of those little things that we had when we were kids where you just put the goggles on and then you click
Oh
the
yeah,
button and it just kind
yeah,
of goes to
yeah.
all these different pictures. It's kind of like that, or like one of those holographic things that you just kind of switch your positioning. And so you're just seeing from a different point of view. And so that's how I've been able to shift pretty quickly. So yeah.
Yo, I like that. Instead of a different point of view, it's a different point of you. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
definitely a different point of view. And that's really helped me to even deal with the hardest of hardest situations that I've been in and to see it from a totally different angle and be okay with it. Because, you have to accept kind of what is in order to be able to see the other side of
Agreed.
it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think so many people don't want to accept or take that responsibility of what they have created out of their perception. And until you accept it and integrate it, you're not going to be able to perceive that it can be anything else. So, yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of people get stuck between wanting and obsessing. So, how do you personally balance desire with surrender?
I think the more present one becomes, the less they're obsessed. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like just in general, I think that if you're um not buying into a bunch of story, you're not gonna get what comes with that story. You know what I mean? Like if you have like a bunch of anxious stories and you're like, oh, I gotta get this, like, and if you're not doing that, then you're not gonna be in it. Now, granted, there's like stored emotions and things like that can come up and be dealt with, but like for the most part, like observing the mind, I like how Eckert puts it, ego is like an unobserved mind. So like when you're getting pulled, like and you're tripping and you're like, okay, I gotta get this, or like I'm waiting and all these things, like trying to pretty much resisting the now moment, wanting to thinking that another moment is better, right? And saying that like when this happens, I'll finally be okay, which is saying I'm not okay now, and then we experience the not okay now. It's just like a big illusion. But two, um, yeah, just kind of to when you feel pulled like that, to just be like, okay, you know what? Let me breathe for a second. Let me let me soothe myself. Let me get myself together. Like you do that over and over again, you'll break these habits
Hmm.
of those types of thought patterns and behaviors and stuff. So like it's and illusions mainly that you get caught in. But like I think it's more of just a willingness to do so.
Hmm.
Um, because I think a lot of people, including myself, by the way, like I don't talk about anything that I haven't really like related to, but like um I think some of us get confused, like love confused with chaos. And that if we're not like chaotic, if we're not like then it's not this thing. And that's just it couldn't be further from the truth. Like it's just actually not how that is, right? But we can't see that when we're like so caught up in story and trying to confirm our belief system through somebody and using somebody else to do it. And it's just like so much going on. So I think someone's struggling with that. If they were just to commit, like I was talking in the group session today on school, like if you were just commit to like a more of a self mastery approach, or like, hey, I'm gonna work with my emotions today, or I'm gonna be observant of thought, obsession goes down. Desire is more of a thing of like, okay, I want to experience that, but it's not something I'm getting like fucking like, oh my God, I have to have this, which in turn is gonna obviously keep your state clean and kind of more whole in the moment. And these things can actually start making their way to you because you already have them, right? And you're no longer in stories as to why you don't. So yeah, I think if someone just kind of committed to that kind of route with the whole thing, it'd be all right.
Hmm. Yeah.
And just like it, and on top of all that, like question the illusion. Like if you think that you're God, that's fine, right? That's great. I'm glad that we learned some of this stuff. But like, is God tripping? Right? Like, is he or he or she is this thing freaking out? Is it like no, it's not. Like that's mind stuff. Like so you have to yeah, kind of recognize the insanity. Like what the fuck am I doing?
Right,
Like
right, right. I agree with that. I agree with
so.
that. I agree with that. And I think that obsession and surrender, it's really just the belief in two minds, the belief in two minds instead of one, and the understanding that you believe that non-fulfillment is a possibility, that that's a reality.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Because
see what you're
even
saying.
then, you're still fulfilling yourself. It's you're fulfilling that non-fulfillment. So the
Yeah.
paradox in that is you have this belief that you can't be fulfilled. And but that's just further from the truth. You're always fulfilled. So if you're always fulfilled, then and you know that you are all that there is, then why would you believe in non-fulfillment? Like why that there's just not a possibility of that unless you desired it. You would give that to yourself. So yeah, it's just that belief that non-fulfillment is possible, and that mind that has a need for something is the one that is not fulfilled and needs things to add to it to make it fulfilled. So it's always going to have a victim complex, always going to have questions, always going to need the body and the mind to be frantic about something, to try to chase after something. But when you're just still, you're just fulfilled. You know that you have everything that you desire. So you just, the more you relax, the more you stop rushing up to the mind to, okay, well, what is it doing now? And what do I got to do now? Okay, it's telling me to go this way, so I need to go do this. The more you stop answering to it, the more you just relax, you just see that there was nothing to do. That thought passes. It just passes in awareness. And the more you relax, the more those thoughts will stop coming in. And like you said, your state will be clean. And then those thoughts and those emotions that you would like to experience, they naturally come on their own. You don't have to go fishing for them. They come on their own because they come out of a certain state. So, yeah. And what role do you think revision plays when it comes to reconciling or shifting dynamics with anything, a specific person or anything? Because I love to talk about revision. It's one of my favorite things, but everybody has different perspectives on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I actually don't talk about it much, but like there's a couple people I've worked with. Well, I mean, quite a few that like that's their route, which is cool. You know, we talk about that. So I definitely am with it. It's definitely a thing. I just haven't really touched on it much. Yeah, but yeah, I think that if someone revises their
Hmm.
past or whatever it is they remember, because like really, in my opinion, if you, it's like most things are like the what was it, the telephone game anyway. Like when you
Hmm.
remember something over and over and over and over again, a lot of times it's not even how it happened.
Yes,
So
exactly.
and you're just like sitting
That's the
there
whole
like
thing.
yeah, you're just sitting there remembering something that like was close to that maybe if so. So you're like and depending on your state depends on how you remember. You ever had like a good day or like being a favorable state and you think about your past? I'm like, man, my childhood was pretty dope. But like I've been in like three nut houses before. Like, and I call them that because like that's what I used to call my like to myself. I was like, dude, like you're being insane. You're like in a nut house right now. Like they have your shoelaces, bro. Like what are you doing, right? And I used to drink all the time. I was highly identifiable and insane, right? And uh yeah, like I don't know how to I guess I don't know how to explain it. Um, it wasn't okay, right? Like it was not okay, and like a lot of things I was thinking about my past was like my past was shit. I grew up this way, I grew up that way. Mom was never there, all this stuff, and then like fast forward, I'm in a chill state, and I remember everything. I'm like, oh, it was pretty cool back then. What? What? Right? Like what? Like so, depending on the state, depends on how you even perceive things, even from the past. So like, yeah, revision is great because most of the shit's made up still anyway.
Yeah, it's all made
Yeah,
up. They're all half truths anyway.
yeah,
So it's just perception. So I that's what I love about it because it just always reminds me that what I believe really never happened to who I truly am, to the I am. It never really happened. None of it never really happened. It's just an idea. All of it is an idea. It's just what do I choose? So it makes no sense to hold on to, the unfulfillment. Like, why would you hold on to that? Why would you go so far as to like really want to, remember that or create that or believe that? Because that's how you're going to think about everything. So I always revise just to remember like nothing is final, for one, and nothing really happened to me. If I could imagine it a totally different way, then who's to say that what I'm remembering actually really happened?
yeah. Like it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's to see that you're greater than all of it. And you're just here for play. It puts me back into the position of playing. Like how you said,
Like
that
yeah,
quote,
yeah.
that you're just here to play. And it's really when you take it so seriously is when you get sucked into it and you're, off your center. So definitely, I love revision because it just helps me to see that, oh, if I could see it a totally different way, why would I hold on to something so unfavorable? Because it's just a perception about myself that, I'm seeing here. So yeah.
My stepdaughter a few months back, she was in a little cake. I guess it was like popular or something. She was like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. And I was like, you know what? Like you sure right
You're
about that,
right. You're right
actually.
about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely
You said a lot of wonky stuff, but that's true. Yeah.
not. Yeah. So, I know last time I asked you, but like I said, we talk over here on my channel about how our inner senses are creative in identifying with the inner being, and we know that, like we talked about, the I am is the one wearing us, entering us, and playing us out in this experience. But how do you use your imagination or spiritual senses, like hearing, inner feeling, inner seeing, when it comes to your experience of life or relationships, or how you want people to see you?
Oh man, that's something else that's evolved for me too. I don't really care if people see me anymore. Like
Mhm.
you used to, I used to have these ideas about like I want to be this, I want to be that. Like I literally had dreams before of like when I get this, I'm gonna have like a car, like a nice car, and like on the back it's gonna say like payback, right? Like all the people that did me wrong, I'm gonna get my self concept so strong, right? And now I can give to like no, I could care less. But uh yeah. I just I don't know. I like to commit to my own practice of uh, awareness, really, like of trying to not fall for to not be duped again.
Mhm.
Because I'm sneaky. And what was it? Just what was it? It had to be a few weeks ago. I was packing with my wife, and a month ago, I was packing with her, and like I had to stop. Mind you, I was like pretty still and just vibing, and I had to stop. And I was like, oh, if I do this, she'll probably have an issue with that. And then if she does have an issue with that, I'll say this back. And then, so I'm gonna do that just to see what she said. And I was like, are you planning an argument with your person right now? Like, so like being aware of that, like a little tricky, a little tricky mind scheme coming in, like being aware of that. Like I love those moments of catching him. Like, okay, no, no. So like I care more about that and things like that than I do the material. So even though those stuff is great and they always follow self-mastery, your own way, but because they're gonna reflect you. But um yeah, I don't know. I like I like that more.
Yeah, and recently I've been reminded by someone I was talking to recently about how that's also evolved for me too. I really resonate with a lot of what you're saying because I've had those same experiences. But when now I see, like, just even self concept and spiritual sensation is, how do I want to experience myself? How do
Oh
I
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
have how do I want to experience my day to day with myself? Do I like this expression of I am? Can I be okay with it at the end of the night before I go to bed? Like that sort of thing. Like
I
I
like
want
that.
to have this sort of experience with myself to see I am a certain way. And really coming from that point of view has really taken so much pressure off of anything, and just me understanding that I have this experience with myself, no matter if it's with anyone else. It's still an experience based on how I'm perceiving myself, or the one mind here. So when I keep it solely focused on myself in that way, it really just helps me to see how I want to express myself. And that pretty much just translates, and it makes it so much more easier instead of trying to think of people like there's others here. It's just, we're all just reflections here. So yeah, that's how I like to perceive it now. So my next question is, I know we talked about this last time, and I want to hear your perspective again, but um do you think manifesting a specific person is really about them, or is it more about awakening to parts of ourselves, to more experience of ourselves?
I don't think it's about the other person at all.
Mhm.
I've just seen it so many times. Like I don't, including in my own reality, like, um, or my own experience, like with that whole thing. But no, I don't think it's about them at all. I think that we are addicted to affirming how we see or like reaffirming how we see ourselves. Um, I don't think it happens in the very beginning. I think it happens when attachment sets in. Like when how the real what we believe comes out to play. But I think it's more of that. Um, I think we get addicted to certain emotions. I think we get I get addicted to drama, thought patterns, right? And I think that it plays out until we're done with it playing out. Do I think that it's like, I mean, actually done with the play now? Not like the mind's like, I don't want to be in pain anymore. I just want this my birth. Like not that kind. Like the actual like, nah, dude, I give up. Not like giving up the person, like not that you don't love them. I mean like giving up the battle, the struggle. Like, okay, I don't have to do this anymore. And then oddly enough, they come. But I think it's about. I think we're always looking for our like the moment. I think we're always looking for um the wholeness within. We just think it's without. Right. So like as long as we're thinking, as long as we're looking out there, we'll never see it within. So these people are pleasant distractions, and the mind likes to keep it that way. Right. Like it's real simple. The mind loves to use it as a no, it's them. Like it's just, but look at them or look at her. Like they and it always like makes me ask that question because I ask myself that question. I'm like, my wife was great. I turned her into someone that was distant and that seemed kind of cold or whatever. I was like, what's it say about me that like that wants somebody that seems like it doesn't want them? Right? Like it says more about me than them, right? So like yeah, it's never about them. I think that when you start to be observant of thought, when you bring back to the moment and kind of get out of the mind's little like dramatic patterns and the dramas of the mind, you're left with the wholeness.
Hmm.
You're left with like, oh, this is what I was looking for anyway. Um, so I think whatever pushes us to enough, uh, I guess, pain to have no other choice but to go within is cool with me. So if that happens to be your SP, so be it. If it happens to be you lost your job, so be it. If that happens to be whatever the case, whatever exterior fucking meltdown that like causes you to like finally say, okay, enough, I want to go within, then that's cool by me. But the ultimate, for me, the ultimate game is what you're looking for is within. It's never out there.
I agree with that so much. And I agree with your perspective on this so much. I do think that, and I talk about it in my new book, but just every time that I was even
You have a book.
obsessed over someone, huh?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You have a book. I want
Yes,
to check out.
I have four. I have four
Okay,
that
okay,
I have
okay.
four.
She's
But
like, yeah, I got a whole fucking library.
but yeah, it's called The Idea of You, my last one where I talk about specific people and based around being the idea of yourself and which were all ideas within the mind of the all. But even anytime I was obsessed with a specific person or having a meltdown about a person or anything of that matter, it was basically if I had it about a specific person, it was just because, like I said, I liked who I was when I was with them. I got to
Yeah,
see more of myself when I was with them. I got to experience the parts of me that were a little bit more free and the parts of me who didn't hold back. And when I really
and then
started
those other
realizing
parts.
it, yeah,
Yeah,
and
then
even the crappy
yeah,
part
yeah.
too,
Then
you get
those
to
other
see a
parts.
range. You get to see a
Yeah.
range of yourself with specific
Uh,
people, and it's what devels you, or what kind of the curtains kind of pull back a little bit, so you can see like there you truly are, like the expanded amount of the expanded part of you, the parts that you kind of just hold in. So I think that anything that we have in our life does that for us too. But when it comes to people, I think that people really think that, oh, I only get that happiness, or I only get that love, or I only get to be myself with that person, and you associate it with that person. And that's what keeps you kind of locked in from seeing that no, it's you. It was always there underneath, but you don't need that person to actually have that experience. You can have that right now if you choose. But yeah, I think that that's just pretty much what it is for me too. And understanding a specific person, that you're always manifesting or calling out more parts of yourself that want to be acknowledged. So I think it's very good to have that perspective, and then you just kind of have the person for fun. Like my specific person, I love the way that I am expresses itself through him when he talks about his favorite things and everything that he has going on, and it just becomes more of a way of seeing how the one mind moves through everybody. And so you have this sort of acceptance and compassion for people. I have so much more compassion now for people that I never had like before. After going through my ups and downs and all of that, I have so much more compassion for, everybody else, but also myself, those parts of myself too. But I love that perspective that you have as well, because I totally agree with that. So my next question is, how do you perceive time now? Now, since you've gone through your thing, how do you perceive time like as a whole?
No, that's the I mean, ego and mind or ego and time are inseparable. Like
Hmm.
there's no time without ego, and there's no ego without time. Like psychological time,
Yeah.
right? Like I mean, it's clear as day. That was like the craziest part about the very beginning of reading The Power of Now is when he was like, "There's no past and future." I'm like, okay, whatever, my guy, right? And then he's like, well, have you ever been there? Like, have you ever been to the past or been to the future? And like I thought about it, and I was like, okay, hold on. Like I actually never have, right? Like anywhere other than mine. And it was wild to even think about. Um, I don't think I don't know how my perspective on that is. Like obviously I know it's not a thing, but like I maybe I use it as a reminder to know when I'm too much in mind.
Hmm.
Like okay, like you're too much there, so like you're using like bring it back to now. But I don't know if I like I'm not walking around like Eckert or anything, like just completely.
Yeah.
But I mean I think I have a fairly good handle on some things. But like as far as the uh, time, I know it's illusion, but it doesn't stop me from having to be aware of mine sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a crazy experience with time that really just messed me up to how I experience time now. And one time I was just going through it, going through the ringer, and I was trying to figure out a solution to a situation. And I remember I had took a few shrooms, chocolate shrooms one day, and I was just chilling in my
There you
room.
go.
And I was like, I said, okay, we're just gonna just sit here and just kind of wait till the, solution comes. I know it's gotta come. And so I'm just sitting there, but meanwhile I had all this anxiety. And then I remember I just got relaxed just enough just to chill. And then this thought came in my head that was so loud because I think that was the first time in months, almost a year, where I felt like presence, like complete stillness. And the thought said, that never happened. And in that instance, when it said it never happened, it was like all these thoughts literally just fell away. And I had nothing but silence in my head for like the next 5 to 6 months. Like
No, that's cool. Yeah.
I literally just sat up and I said, "Oh, okay." And I just grabbed a book that I've been putting off reading and I just sat there, opened it up, and I started reading it and went on about my life like nothing ever happened, like that situation never happened. And I think in about a week, that situation got solved and
Oh yeah.
things just took a whole different turn in my life, like up and up in such a short amount of time. But it was like it was the I don't know, that was the craziest thing, but it was like the time.
With
Like the
presence,
time and
right?
everything fell away, the presence. It was just like, yeah, that
Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah.
What you think
Yeah.
happened never happened.
No, not like no revision, no nothing.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
just
well, I guess in a way that never happened I guess be a form of that, but you're saying like it never happened, then you just went about your day in the moment and then
yeah.
things, yeah,
It was like literally like leave it there and move forward. Leave
no
that
work
illusion
required.
there, step out of it and move forward. It was like no rhyme or reason why I never once sat and thought about, well, are you sure? It was just like a click and it was just like all the thoughts like left. And I just kept
The
moving.
world's like crumbling, you're just reading a book. Like
Yeah, the whole
that's the
world.
ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, yeah, it was an idea. It made me realize like that was also an idea. Like all of it. Me having a problem was an idea. Me not having a problem was an idea. But just I think that for the first time I really saw like the I am, that it just was something there that just never touched true awareness. Like the mind was doing its own thing. The mind created all of that. But it was just the first time I fully identified with, the presence, the I am. And it was just like ever since then, it was just like take off a whole totally different direction. And I just got up the next day so excited to live. Like that was just the craziest thing to me. And I was like, I always hold that close to me because I was like, yeah, that that was just crazy. Crazy
Yeah,
to me.
okay, so I get what you're saying. I did that with an intentional gratitude like experience, like being like making
Hmm.
gratitude like my intent for like the day. And I remember being like so high, like off of just like vibing. And I remember feeling like this knowing I was in the moment, I was still, and I just like was vibrating so high and people were like calling me, like it was just like this really cool thing, this experience. But also I remember feeling like, oh, this is eternal. Like I remember
Hmm.
feeling that I was like, oh, this is like I last forever. Right. And like to this day, I've never had like that kind of experience before, but
Yeah.
it was extremely strong. And I like, I even after I fell a few times after that, like as far as like buying back into my stuff, not really doing all the things I probably should have been doing if I want to live like this, I guess. But I always remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, no, like it's like my suffering was a little bit less. I felt like because I was like, man, like it's silly. Like
Yeah.
I know different now, and so yeah, I get that.
Yeah, yeah. Ever since then, if I fall into it for a moment, I could snap back out of it really quick. It's like, but you know the truth. And so just move forward. Just move forward, look forward. It's the stopping and the looking back and the ruminating over things and digging into like why did this happen and what is going on with it. That's what keeps us just stuck. You just leave it there and just keep going. It just works out.
Oh
Everything
yeah,
everything is always trying to get you to come back to center, to your to presence. Everything. Everything is doing its best to get you to turn back to the present moment. But we have
agreed.
to let go of mind, thinking where we are
Yeah, I was about to say everything except the mind.
You're
Like
right.
the literally everything. The mind is addicted to solving problems that it created. It's like
Mhm.
it loves to start shit and then be like, well, I'll figure it out. I'll get it. It's like, dude, you did this. Like,
It
yeah,
creates it, puts it there, then it's like,
yeah,
I
you
need you
did this
to
whole
go
thing.
listen and fulfill this for me, and then you never will. You never will.
Yeah,
You're gonna come
it
back and
doesn't even
say,
want that.
yeah, right. Right, exactly. It doesn't want that. It needs that in order for it to be a separate individual to that
Yeah,
needs something, you
yeah,
know?
it actually doesn't want what it says it.
Hmm.
Like it's like a I don't know. You have kids
No, but I have niece and
like
nephew, so yeah.
yeah, but like my son Kendrick, like not even that long ago, I got him uh, a Sonic, like a thing like he likes Sonic, right?
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, like I mean he had to have this thing, and like 3 days later he was like, hey, let me get another one, and I was like, why don't you play with this one? Like you just got it, and like the next day he's like, I played with it 10,011 times. And he's like, I want to. I was like, but it made me think about like just humanity in general. Like we're like that's what we do. We're like, oh, I want the beach house. And we get the beach house. We're like, man, it's too sandy over here. Maybe I need it. It's like this constant, no matter what the prize is. And we do it. We also do it with people. Like
Mhm.
we also get the people, and then because as glorious as these people may be that we want so bad, right? Like give it a few weeks of them coming back into the physical experience, and you're gonna be like. They still chew like that?
That's what I
They
say to
st
people all the time. I'm
they
like,
still chew like that?
you
Like
are obsessing,
yeah.
and he can breathe wrong, and you're gonna be upset.
Yeah, and it will happen. Yeah, like oh, he's gonna leave the toilet seat because he don't listen to nothing besides he don't care about nobody but himself. And then next thing you know, you got these assumptions on him again, and it's like, and then he's gone, and you're in the manifesting thing. You're like, no, he's my everything, but like it's illusion. So it's not. Trust me, I get it. I was insane. Like to this day, I tell everybody, I'll tell them like, gosh, you have nothing to worry about. I'm to this day the most insane person I ever met, but like it's all good. But it still is illusion.
Mm,
Like you'll be
yeah,
just about as happy with them as you are without them. You,
you have to be. You have to be in
yeah,
order for it to be
for
a
sure.
smooth relationship. Anyway, you have to be. Yeah. So, my
Mm.
last question to you is, anything that you would like to share, or anything that you've learned recently that you think will assist other people.
Um, have fun, man. Like I know that like I know in the law of assumption community, I try to mix it a lot, like mix it all too. Like really presence is all you really need. It's not separate from people that want desire and things like that. It really isn't. It's a um but like I know like the law of assumption and the law of attraction are like, you know, because one's got a high vibe. And I get it, right? I get it. But like now I'm not saying it's the easiest thing, but like high vibe out, dude. Like right now. Like who cares? Like no, it's not required to get your stuff, but like dude, like you have this at least in this body anyway, this particular experience. Like shit's fun, dude. There's a lot of cool and there's challenge and challenge will be there. It's not going anywhere. You'll have the challenge. We talked about that last time. Like just because you find out that you're creating everything doesn't not exempt you from life's challenges. So, but you can have fun here. You can enjoy the moment right now. Like it doesn't always have to be about uh getting something. Don't let the mind fool you into thinking that something out there is better than what's going on right now. It's all good. And I think that if someone just like kind of committed to that practice, those things that they want anyway would make their way to them, and they would actually have a more joyous, like, full experience right here, right now, because they'd no longer be buying into the fucking silly illusion that something's better.
Mhm.
But I mean, as far as learning something new, that's about it. Like
Yeah.
law of attraction it out, dude. Like not in a sense to get something, but like in like an Abraham Hicks way. Go fucking be joyous. Like
Choose, like, why not choose? Why not choose to experience, joy, peace, and presence just because you can, you
just
know,
because you can.
just because you can. Mhm.
Exactly.
So yeah, I want to thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation. I really resonate with a lot of what you say because I totally get it. I've been in that insane situation that's caused me to lose everything. And I was looked up. It wasn't until I looked up and I was like, yeah, that also never really happened. And
Let me
it
read a
was just,
book.
yeah,
Let
yeah,
me-
right. Let me go read a book. And so yeah, it just like literally go on with their life, move on. It's kind of like, in scripture when Jesus is always saying, all right, go and tell no one, keep going, you know, go ahead and just leave, don't go and sin no more, all of that stuff. It's just like, yeah, you're conscious of it now. And there's no need for you to like look back and try to figure out why that happened. Just get up and go.
Oh
So it's
yes,
literally that.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's literally that.
Yes. I tell people that too. I'm like, man, like if you see something, like don't try to dig up what belief that shit came up. It's like if you see it, just don't identify in the moment. Say, okay, whatever. I'm unmoved. Let it pass by. You don't need to figure out where it came from. You don't need to figure out whose cousin that is.
Right.
You don't need nothing. You just oh, that's not me. Phew, boom.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Tell the people once again where they can find you.
Yeah, just on YouTube on the internal game. And yeah, that's it.
Right. Do you have a school or anything?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. School community. It's also the internal game. Yeah.
Internal game? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I will link all of that. Love for you guys. Guys, don't forget this Sunday we have the Mind Masterclass. If you want to hear my perspective on what we talked about from the point of mind, definitely it's going to be this coming Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is down in the description box below. Thank you to everyone who has purchased my books, who has joined my Substack, and just everything. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much again, Bradley, for your contribution over here on my channel. Please go subscribe, you guys. I love his content. And once again, you guys, imagination is on your side, and I am too. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Awesome.